So just to start off, I'm Lindsay. I'm a 30-year-old millennial who loves everything Disney, Marvel, anything in that realm, I'm in it, I'm with it, Harry Potter, all of it, I love it. I went to Florida Gulf Coast University. I got my degree in, excuse me, English literature with a concentration in, excuse me, oh my gosh, creative writing. So after I graduated college, my boyfriend Chris and I moved out here, and we've been here for about 7 to 8 years now. We live in Pueblo the whole time. So that's just a little bit about us. So like I said before, we're a marketing agency that's completely based in strategy. So from websites to social media to newsletters to any way that you're contacting your ideal client, we help you not only target them, but help you convert them as a customer. So that's Chris and I. So today we're going to talk about social media strategy overall, what it is, what goes into it, and how you can build one on your own as a small business owner. I'm specifically going to talk about service providers, but if anybody here has a product-based business, let me know because I will sprinkle that in as well. And then we're going to talk about the different social media platforms. I'm going to touch on them all a tiny little bit because I think it's important to understand not only the format, but why people show up on that platform and who shows up on that platform. And then we're going to specifically talk about TikTok at the end because it's not for 14-year-olds to dance on. It's an absolutely incredible platform to be on, and the growth and value that is on there is just unmatched. I've never been more influenced by one video in my entire life to buy something. It's a problem. You should see my Amazon cart. Okay, so let's talk about social media strategy as an overview. So what is a social media strategy, right? There's a lot of talk about it online, and it can be so confusing to figure out what actually goes into it, what you should even focus on, and all of those kinds of things, right? So a social media strategy is a blueprint for how your business shows up online. It tells you who you're targeting, how you're going to target them, and how you're going to track and measure those results as well. So with my company, for one platform, the book can be anywhere from about 10 pages to 20, 25 per platform because every single platform has a different function, different formats, and different ways to reach your ideal client, and no two platforms are the exact same. So with my company, oh, I'm so sorry. I touched it too hard. With my company, we talk about these 7 things really in depth. And so I'm going to go over these 7 things with you guys and really touch on what's important in them and what you should be tracking and measuring in these things. Light touches, Lindsay. Okay, hold on. So the reason it's important to have these things written down and not just have an idea in your head is that you're able to go back and reference these things at a later point, right? So you're creating content, or you're building a new service, or you're building a new offering, being able to go back to your target audience personas and say, what makes this person tick? What's their pain points and how can I solve it is incredibly important. So the first thing up on the list is an audit. So when people hear this, they immediately go to vanity metrics, right? Following, reach, likes, engagement in general, right? And that's great. We do want to know what your standings are at the beginning so that way we can be able to move forward with those things and see where your growth has been. But the main thing that people aren't talking about is looking at your content and what has done well in the past for you, or if you haven't created an account yet, you'll want to look at what people in your industry are doing, right? So if you already have an account created, I would say that the first thing to do is look at those analytics, right? What's working, how much is your following grown, and all those other things, right? Then you want to look at, like I said, content that you've put out before, right? Maybe you have a certain personal thing that you put out every now and then, and that content does really well over your business stuff, right? That means that your audience wants to see more about you. Oh, okay. It's okay. Let me just try and...
Can you
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Let's go back to here. Is that better?
Yes, that works.
Okay. And is this set up? No. Okay. Let me just exit out of full screen really quick. I'm so sorry, guys. Is it just supposed to like turn on, or do I have to?
There's a power on the side.
Okay, it was me. It's a user error. It's a user error. I'm not used to the fancy tech, you know? So make sure that we're looking at content that does well for you, right? So for instance, like I said, if you're putting out something personal about yourself, it will help, and it's doing well. That means that your audience wants to see more about you. And then you can fit in behind the scenes content. You can fit in day in the life content. Those will be the things that still help you talk about you and your business, but bring it from a different perspective. And you're able to survey your audience without having to put up a poll that says, what kind of content do you want to see from me? Now, if you don't have an account created yet, what I would suggest is going and finding the top accounts in your industry, especially your niche industry, and going through and seeing what works for them. Now, for them, it might be a talking head video. It might be something that is out of your comfort zone. There are ways to take what works for them and make it your own and flip it. And we're going to talk about that at the end when we talk about different kinds of content and the level of energy you want to put into it, right? Because everybody knows as a business owner, not every day is, let's sit down and film a 10-minute video. Okay, so the second piece, I'm so sorry. Let me see. It said no. Okay. Am I on the screen maybe? Okay, here we go. So the second piece is goals and KPIs. Now, this is something that everybody always wants to skip because it feels hard. But the reality is this is really important, and to have these things written down is absolutely major. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make a list of all the goals that you have for your business. These don't have to be related for your actual social media. These can be goals in general that could possibly still be tracked by social media, and we'll, see that at the end, right? So once you have a whole list of goals written down, you'll want to make sure that you go through and highlight which ones can actually be tracked and measured, either through social media analytics, content creation, or anything of that nature. Sorry. No. We want everyone to be able to see the slides. This is actually funny because we talked about bringing an HDMI cord. Literally, as we were leaving the house, he's like, do you need one? I was like, nah, they'll have one. Okay, let's see, round 2. Oh, okay. All right. Is it maybe the port?
That's what I was wondering, maybe if it was this.
Okay, let's see if that works. And we'll keep it. No. Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. I think we're just going to have to keep going with it, cutting in and out like that. Just leave it, please. Thank you.
Can we send everybody a PowerPoint?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to make a full list of goals, go through and highlight which ones can be tracked by social media, either through analytics, content creation, and just in general gauging your audience, right? So for example, if you wanted to create a community online, then you'll want to track engagement, follows, and reach and profile views as well as things that are attracting people to your business and helping you build a community. Personas. This is probably the most important part of a social media strategy, and if you take anything away from this entire thing, it's that these should be detailed accounts of your ideal client, not clients you currently have, your ideal client, and they should not only be very detailed and fleshed out, but they should be written down somewhere that you can refer to later on. So by creating these detailed accounts of who your ideal client is, you learn a couple of things. One, what makes them tick. Two, what their pain points are. And three, how your product or service alleviates that pain point in their life. Because when you approach it from that aspect, you're able to truly offer your ideal client and audience a transformation in their life. And that's truly all that anyone is looking for, right? Is for something to transform their life. Then you go into choosing the best platform for you. That shouldn't be done until you have your target audience personas fleshed out already. Now, if you currently have an account, that's okay. You might find out that you're showing up on Facebook, but your ideal client is actually on TikTok, right? So it's okay if you find that out later. You can just switch it up or keep that feed, current but not super active. So you really can't choose what platform to be on until you've fleshed out in your target audience personas where they hang out online and in real life. Because you don't know where to show up if you don't know where they're spending their time. And so that's a really important thing to be able to have in place before you move on to the next step of showing up on a social media platform. So now we move into something that feels hard, but once put into place is the most incredible thing for your business that you'll ever do. So content buckets and pillars are specific to your content that you're putting out for your clients. So buckets are your overall arching theme of your posts. So educational, entertaining, inspiring, connecting, promotional, even personal. Those are all buckets and overall arching themes of the different posts. Pillars are specific to you and your business and how you show up to your business that is different from anybody else in your industry. So maybe you're a lawyer that does one specific practice in one specific place. That could be a pillar for you, that you're a Colorado-based company, right? For myself, my pillars in my business are obviously social media strategy. I'm very passionate about it. Content creation, target audience personas, and then social media platforms because I just really like social media. I spend too much time on it. So once you have these content buckets and pillars in place, you should have about 3 to 5 of each. You're able to then sit down and build a content database based off of those two things. So just for example, for me, I can have an educational piece on social media strategy. I can have an entertaining piece on social media strategy. I can have a connecting piece on social media strategy, and I can have an inspiring piece on social media strategy, right? That's 4 different pieces on the same topic brought to my audience in different ways so that if you like to laugh, you're gonna learn a lot from the entertaining posts. If you like to read, you're gonna gain a lot from my educational posts. If you feel inspired and that's what your feed brings you, you're gonna get my inspirational posts. Does that make sense? By pulling out a different variety of things, you not only get to build a database of a huge amount of content, but then you get to go, okay, today I really need to inspire my clients on social media strategy because I have this coming up. And then you get to search the database, pull those filters, see what content comes up, and either tweak the colors on a Canva or throw some new text on a video or repurpose old content. Because we will get to this part, but I will just say it now. Once you post a piece of content once, it's not dead. Keep posting it. The views you get the first time might be low, but the second time it'll be higher, and the third time it'll be even higher. You learn something with each time, and content isn't dead after one time, I promise you. I know you've been led to believe that, but we put way too much effort into our content for it to die after one time. So, organic engagement. Social media is meant to be social. So you have to do exactly that, right? The greatest content in the world can flop because the creator isn't showing up to engage with their audience. Now, you don't have to be on there all day, every day to have this big online community and people that buy from you. But what you do need to have is a presence more than just your posts and an understanding from your audience that you are there for what they need. So it looks different on every platform, and we will get into each platform's specific code cracks in the next section. But just so you know, having this fleshed out of what you do and how you do it is so important, because then you're able to see what works and track and measure what isn't working, and if you actually were able to check all the boxes for your engagement strategy. And then the last piece, right? We want to track and measure what's happening with our strategy and our social media, so that we can see if we're lining up with our goals and if we are reaching them, and if not, how can we tweak the strategy to make us align with the goals and get there. So this is probably, again, like the writing down of the objectives and goals, this is probably the second most skipped step, but I promise tracking and measuring is super important for making sure that we know if the strategy is working or not. Okay, social media platforms. So these are the top 4 social media platforms currently with active users on there. We have Facebook, which launched in 2004. We have Instagram, which launched in 2010. We have YouTube, which launched in 2005, and we have TikTok, which launched in 2017. Now, bless you, what is greatly noticeable in this is that TikTok was only released 5 years ago and competes with platforms that was made way before its time of even a thought, right? So it's really, really important to note that the organic growth and engagement on there really is unmatched. And like I said, we'll get to TikTok because I am very passionate about it. Facebook. So the average age on that platform is 35 to 49 years old. It is a 43% female, 57% male dominated platform. There is 2.91 billion active users on there, and it is currently the #1 used platform out there. It has pages, private groups, stories, Reels, Messenger, and WhatsApp all in it. The engagement style on there is lots of comments, positively controversial posts, and a lot of article sharing happens on there, just like with LinkedIn as well. What works well on the platform is definitely Facebook pages and groups, and utilizing the features like files, photos, and blog posts. You can really create and nurture a community from any other platform in Facebook. So for instance, if you had a big following on TikTok and wanted to have a community thread place to be able to, engage with them every day for an hour or two, creating a private Facebook group that they have to join and become a part of, and you just have that like exclusivity, it's unmatched in being able to bring people over into that. So that's truly what I see the most use for it in Facebook, and the best uses for it. Let me see. Instagram. So the average age on Instagram is 21 to 35 years old. It's 47 female, 53 male. There is 1.2 billion active users on there. So quite a difference from Facebook, right? We have under a billion, or about a billion less on here than on the other. So Instagram is the king of formats, right? There is no platform that has more different types of formats on it than Instagram. Stories, reels, carousels, guides, lives, highlights, collaborative posts, sponsored. That's truly just the tip of the iceberg. I didn't have enough room on the slide to put them all. And then the engagement style on there is very connective and supportive, right? There's a lot of sharing each other's posts. There's a lot of like community amongst the different industries on there. So what works well on there is stories. Replying to stories, being conversational in stories, and showing up there more than your actual platform. I won't say reels, but I will say like regular posts. It's definitely better to do that. Stories is an amazing way to gauge your audience with polls and quizzes and being able to have them interact with your day, and not just like about your products and services, but I put up a poll that's like, do you drink coffee or tea, right? And I have like a series on my Instagram where every morning I put up what's in today's teapot, because I only drink tea. So And I always get people that are like, oh my God, I didn't know what a winter white Earl was, and or Earl Grey, until you told me about it. And so like, it's just a way for you to connect with your audience in a personal way without having to like step outside of your business. Sharing valuable information for your target audience, and truly Instagram is a community building app. There is just so much support on there, and it truly is just a great app for being a business on there, you know, with the shop tab, and it's a very business friendly format. YouTube, the average age on there is 22 to 45 years old. The active users on there is 2.29 billion. The content types and formats, there's long format content of video, YouTube Shorts, series, and there's a couple other little things that you can do with your videos on there in categorizing them. The engagement style, don't tell Gen Z I said this, but this is where comment culture was built. Like, I know they think they did it on TikTok, but the comment section of YouTube used to be wild. That still is wild, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But sharing on other platforms to here, right? Having somewhere to host your long format content and pushing all other platforms to here, YouTube made that a possible strategy because no other platform was allowing you to upload long form content except for YouTube. And so the whole strategy of previewing your content on other platforms to push to another really kind of was born here with YouTube. LinkedIn. So the average age on here is 25 to 34 years old. There is 66.8 million users. What I will note on here for you guys is that all of the stats that you will find on LinkedIn is done by week or by month. There is no daily average user time like there is with all the other apps because it's not really used in that same way, right? This is where you share professional wins. This is where you help people, other professionals, see what you have going on. TikTok. Okay, this is one of my favorites. So for this platform, the average age is 20 to 30 years old. There's 56% female and 44% male. The active users on here is 1 billion. The content types and formats on TikTok are short form video content. So you can do a second. I don't know why views, but I don't know why you would actually want to do a 1 second video. But you know, short ones like 7 seconds, those are absolutely allowed and constantly used. You can have long form content. So TikTok has just released in this year the ability to post 10-minute long videos. That means that it is competing with YouTube, right, and platforms like it to be able to upload long form content, and that it's actually wanting its users to deliver that kind of experience. Now, obviously, they want it to be a story so that you're captivated and you watch the whole time, not just you posted a 10-minute video, but it is an ability for you to be able to do on there now. Not only is there stories, but this week, actually, TikTok released a new feature. If you know what Be Real is, the app, it's a new app that lets you be real, right, and in the moment. And you get a notification, and within 3 minutes of getting that notification, you have to post a photo from your front and back camera. So TikTok has now put that into its format. It's called TikTok Now, and it's truly just about being authentic in the moment and not having these curated feeds all the time, right? And it's actually kind of fun, I won't lie, because you never know when it's going to come up. It always comes up at a very odd time. I would be not surprised if mine dinged while we were doing this. So the engagement style, right? I can't stress enough how much the comment culture is unmatched on there. You have brands and companies fighting for attention on things. You have companies like Duolingo just saying the craziest, outlandish stuff on viral videos that's making it go even more viral. Like, I've literally seen a video that went viral only because of the comment section. Like, people just showed up into it enough, said enough stuff. Those comments got hundreds of thousands of likes, and it just pushed the whole thing out, right? So, comment culture may have been born somewhere else, but it's taken on a new life on this platform, that's for sure. Replying to comments with videos, right? This was the first app that we actually saw where someone could leave a comment on a video of yours and you could reply to it with a video, and it was attached the question was attached at the top so that you could always be able to say, so listen, the reason that social media strategy is important is because, right, you didn't have to do that intro anymore. You could just be like, this is a great question and here's why, and just jump right into it and lose all the fluff. Trends, right? Trends have gotten huge on TikTok. And I know that trends feel like 14-year-olds dancing on TikTok. I get it. But there are easy ways to show up in trends that truly just require you to stand there, not look miserable, obviously, and point to the screen in 4 places, and you can add text to it later. And that is a low effort content if I ever saw it, right? So being able to show up to those trends and being able to relate trends to your business, which TikTok does really, really well, is so unmatched. Conversational and valuable content, storytelling, really making everything about the client and solving their pain points, that's become a huge front runner on there, right? Gone are the days of buy my product, buy my product, buy my product, or buy my service. It's now more of, please let me show you the value that I have, right? We're no longer gatekeeping what we do. It's much more of an open era of telling everybody everything. So that conversational and valuable content on there is just really important. And then the SEO capabilities on TikTok, it's scary. We'll get to a slide about that, but like they can see things around you. Like you can have a Broncos flag behind you and they'll push your content to Broncos fans. Not because you said anything about it in that video, but because it was just sitting there in the background. So on text screen, native to the platform, all those kinds of things really help you get a lot of really great SEO. So what works well on the platform is engaging with the audience through comments, value-based content, like I said, trends, and then really creating a community on there. Showing up not because you have to, but because you want to. TikTok has really become about being authentic and getting rid of that perfectly curated background and everything's a mess on this side of the camera. No, show that side of the camera, right? We want to see, that perfectionism is gone. I actually just watched a video this morning where some girl was like, if I'm on someone's page and everything's going great, everything's going fine, she's like, I'm not hiring them. She's like, now someone's like, I had a bad day. She's like, I'm hiring them because they're real, they're authentic, and they're showing both sides of the coin, right? So let's talk about TikTok's overview and the ways to use it. So experts always say that you should be posting 1 to 2 times a day for the first 30 to 60 days. That's a lot. If you're not a company and you don't have, if you're not a big company with lots of employees and you don't have a big content database like that, it can be really hard to show up like that. Now you can plan ahead and, spend a month creating low, medium, and high energy content. Are looking to start now, you can look at your other platforms and see what content did well and either try to repurpose that without the watermarks over to other platforms, or you could even redo that content, right? So you could, if you had an Instagram post that did really well, you could read the caption to your camera and then use that as your first talking head video for TikTok, right? And be able to have a scripted video for you. It's gonna feel uncomfortable at first, but truly posting on TikTok really is about the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with it. And then I would really say capitalizing on trends. There are a ton of accounts on TikTok where their entire account is dedicated to showing business owners what trends are really circulating and how to relate it to your content. So you'll see like a little video inside of a video, and it'll be somebody explaining what they're doing up there, and there'll be a ton of text on screen that says like how you could relate it to your specific business. Being able to capitalize on things like that is really great, and those are the different kinds of content that you can get. So let's talk about TikTok's features and formats. So TikTok has TikTok posts, right? So these are 10-minute videos in length, and they could be as little as 1 second if you wanted them to be. Stories are 15-second clips that disappear off your feed after 24 hours, just like Instagram. Those seem to be easier to show up to because they disappear. So like I tell myself all the time, post it. If I look like an idiot, it's only for 24 hours, right? So it's only there for 24 hours. And then TikTok now, we talked about that earlier, right? It's the be real kind of thing where you have both sides of the camera, and it's just that in the right moment, well, I wouldn't say right, in the time and moment, you just are showing what you're actually doing. Captions. Captions have become a really big thing in the last couple of weeks because they went from being 300 characters to 2,200 characters, which means that they really want you to write long form content, captions, to be able to get keywords and help them with their SEO capabilities of pushing your content to which audience you want to see it to. It's really become a search-based platform where you could type in how to cook a steak and it will bring you videos that say how to cook a steak and walk you through it, right? So being able to not only know that, but capitalize on it in your own industries and being able to see how you can, create content for your company, that is how to create a social media strategy, how to implement a social media strategy, right? These are ways that you're able to find pain points that other people have that you solve. Hashtags, they're great for SEO, but TikTok is not the same as Instagram. You don't need 30 of them. You need about 3 to 5 that are specifically talking about what you're talking about in that video. So for me, if I'm talking about a target audience persona, I'll do target audience persona, target audience build, right? Anything that's related to that, but I'll only do 3 to 5. I might throw my branded business one in there as well, just so that if anybody were to ever click on that, it'll always show all of my stuff, right? But for the most part, we want them to be geared towards what is actually happening in that video so that it's being pushed to who wants to see it. And then SEO, right? TikTok pulls SEO from everything. So from native text that you've written on the screen, the actual words that are coming out of your mouth, if there are any, the closed captions, the actual captions, objects around you, right? It is pulling all kinds of stuff. So we want to make sure that it's pulling the right stuff. So by even typing keywords out, making them really small and just pulling them slightly off screen so that the AI reads it and it's pushing it where it needs to go, but your audience isn't flooded by things that they don't need to see, right? So just being able to know the different ways to capitalize on there and to be able to do that. Okay, so setup and optimization. I just have a couple of tips because I know that a lot of people aren't on TikTok yet. So if you're planning on jumping on, these are my holy grails. Account types, right? So you can either have a business or a personal account. It is totally up to you what you choose. Business account limits your music abilities, which to be honest with you, there's enough producers on there making mashups and doing really viral, cool songs that I'm over being upset about that. I'm like, he's got a cooler mix for me anyways, and it's about to take off and I'm gonna ride it, right? So the music limit isn't really that big of a deal. However, being able to have a business account, you do automatically get the link in bio, which you don't get at a personal account. You need to have 1,000 followers to be able to get that. So it's really important for a business that you have that link as a strategy perspective, right? To be able to send them somewhere. So I always highly recommend that you sign up as a business account. Bio optimization. So one of the other things we didn't talk about in SEO, because I knew it was coming up here, is that your bio can also be not only searched, but used for SEO. So your username, your name line, your category, your bio space, and the link in bio can all be searched, right? So just so you know, your username and your name line should be different, right? Your username should be the business name. Your name line should be, if you're the only person in your business, it should be your name dash whatever you do. So mine is Lynn's, and I'm a marketing specialist. So that's what my name line says, so that when somebody's searching market specialist, I come up. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing those name lines for searchable things. That also is for Instagram as well, just in case anybody's on there. Go change that today. SEO for posts, right? So we just talked about this. Captions, native text on screen, audio recording, and objects in the video can all be used for SEO. And I highly recommend that you really take a look at what you can do to boost those things, because there's always new ways that you can do that. But really, those are the main ways to be able to capitalize on their new SEO algorithms. Messaging. So messages are really only available if you're friends on TikTok. So I always tell people to make sure that your Instagram is attached to your TikTok, because what happens is when you're on the person's profile, you can then click on their Instagram. It's like a little button right there, and then it'll take you to where you can message. So a lot of messaging from TikTok actually happens on Instagram, because TikTok doesn't really have the ability to just message random people, which it's a blessing and a curse, you know? Like, as a business owner, I'm sure you can understand you get crazy messages, but at the same time, like, you want your clients to be able to message you, right? Or potential clients. TikTok now, it's a really great way to be able to show what you're doing currently, right? And to be able to be authentic. More importantly, when an app releases a new feature, it pushes it. So if you do it, it will push not only your TikTok nows, but it will push all your other content as well, because it's praising you, right? You've done the right thing. Good dog. You've done the right thing. That's what we wanted you to do. And then for captions, right, a great way to target specific groups of people based on SEO. You can use keywords that are found by searching in your industry. So if you're on TikTok and you search, for instance, I search social media strategy, the first thing that's going to come up, it's going to be about 4 to 8 videos. If you scroll just past that, you'll come to a block of text that has a ton of keywords. Those are related searches to what you just searched. Those are all keywords that you should be utilizing on your social media platforms, either in captions, in what you're saying in your script, or even in your text on screen, because it's helping it show up in multiple places and letting it be seen all over the place. Okay. So let's talk about different content types, because nobody has all the energy all the time to be filming all the time. So here's some ideas for some low effort content types that are really great for business owners. So B-roll content, right? If you're sitting at your desk putting together, even just doing admin work, you know, answering emails and stuff, having a camera or your phone set up somewhere where it's just recording you typing on a computer or something, that can be something you use later and put a bunch of educational text over top of, or even something explaining something that's going on with you. It's a really great way to be able to utilize things. And I will give you a tip for that. If you make sure that the video is about under 8 seconds, just under, and you put enough text on screen, it takes people 3 times to read it. And your views go up, but you're still delivering educational value. You're not like, you know, doing nothing, right? You're still giving them value. Easy trends. So just like I am displaying here, and I said earlier, right, pointing at the screen and just being able to show off different things that you are trying to do. And you can find different songs to be able to do it on beat. And it's a really easy thing that you can do with little to no effort. Repurposing content. So as you can see, this is my podcast video that I have just repurposed and put up, right? I just took it from somewhere else and was able to repurpose it. And then a day in the life. I really love doing these because it's little 10, 15-second snippets of my day, and I just put them all together and go, well, here's another day in the life. And you wouldn't believe it, but my day in the lives get more views than my educational stuff sometimes, because people just want to know what it is that you're doing. And not only that, a lot of other business owners want to see what programs you're using, how you're using them, all that kind of stuff. So you never know who wants to see what you're doing. I promise more people want to see it than you think. Medium effort content ideas, right? So talking head unscripted. So at least once a week, I'll sit down in front of my camera, as you can see, mic'd up with a cup of tea, and I just go. I don't worry about what I'm saying. I don't worry about the ums and the who's and the ha's. If I mess something up, I stop, I pause, and I re-say it. but I just let myself go unscripted and just talk about things. And I find myself ending up getting into a rabbit hole of explaining something, and I can use that as content later, right? But the unscripted part in that is what makes that important. You still have enough effort to do something, but you don't have enough effort to read a full scripted thing and feel like you're not going to make it sound like you're reading off of a, demands list or something like that. Lip sync videos under 10 seconds. Those are usually pretty easy to do, especially if it's something that you align with. I use this example a lot. There's a audio that goes around from Mean Girls, and it's like talking, spend 80% of my time talking about Regina George, and the other 20%, I was just praying for someone else to bring her up so that I could talk about her more. So when it's a short trend, I obviously have it memorized. And so it's easy for me to lip sync, but if you have short little things like that, you can do a really great job with it. Community spotlights, collaborative posts, that's a really medium effort because it only takes half of what you're doing. And then behind the scenes of whatever it is that you do, packaging an order or onboarding a client or anything of that nature. Okay, high effort content types, scripted talking head videos. Now, I will say that for a lot of people that feels hard because it feels like you have to have the whole thing in one go. You don't, I promise. Sometimes when I do scripted stuff, I'll have it in lines and I'll read it in between lines to help get myself immersed and then just go in and cut up the dead space. So truly, it can be a little bit easier, but to be personable and want to be that, you need high energy. Lip sync over 15 seconds, right? That can sometimes take a couple tries more than just the quick little ding, right? So it just takes a little bit more effort. So that's why I put it in the high effort content types. Repurposed content in the sense of having to resize it, right? So when you repurpose something from another social media, the reason that was an easy is because you don't have to resize anything or really do anything besides take the watermark off. When it comes to actually resizing something that was shot this way and you need it this way, right? That takes a little bit more effort. And then transitions and trends, right? Being able to master those and make them look flawless can be hard. And so it may take a couple times of whichever one you are trying to do. There is so many now, it's absolutely insane. Okay, so really quick, the last thing I want to talk about, and then I will open it up for questions, is how to strategize and connect the different platforms that you have together. So number one, you're going to want to utilize clips of the short form content on IG Reels and TikTok and push it to something like YouTube or even Facebook where you have the longer format content housed. So that way you're getting views on all platforms and still keeping them where you want them to be. You want to create engaging text on screen and captions that actively invite your audience to comment and share content across the different platforms, right? So again, this is about building a community and showing up for what they need, not what you need. The link in bio page, sometimes people just have this as your website. I'd highly recommend if your website, depending on who your website is through, you can make a private page on there and create your own kind of like link tree situation where it's buttons of taking places to people and it has your contact information at the top. But by keeping it on your website, you're keeping people on your stuff. So if they happen to stray off of it accidentally, they're still on your website. If they happen to get off that page, they're still on your website. When you have something like Linktree, they can end up somewhere else that you don't want them to, and we want to keep them all centralized onto your website. And then you want to always check and make sure that the content and strategy you're putting out is reaching your ideal client. So when you're making a piece of content, you want to say to yourself, would Holly appeal to this piece of content? Would Megan understand this pain point, right? You want to make sure you're keeping them in mind when you're doing everything. Otherwise, it really is all about you, right? Okay, does anybody have any questions? I know I talked really fast and I'm super passionate about it all, so I might have, glossed over something.
I'm curious, you talked about the different platforms,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm more curious about where you're getting the business from the most, if any.
Me?
Yeah.
So I would say most of my business comes from Instagram, but that's where I have nurtured that community for a long time. I was a watcher of TikTok for, oh God, since the very, probably about the end of 2019, I joined TikTok for my own personal stuff. And it did start out as just dances with 14-year-olds, actually, ironically enough. My nieces were like, can we? I was like, yeah, okay, we can do this. But the more I got on personally and did things, the more I realized that I needed to be on there in a business sense. And I really changed the way I show up on TikTok in the last year. And so I would say that it's coming from there. I already have seen like a really big influx of inquiries to my freebies. So on my website, I have 2 freebies available. I have a target audience persona worksheet, which helps you build one yourself. And then I have a social media strategy checklist. And I think in the last 6 months, I've had a 200% increase in that mailing list straight from TikTok. So it's coming. It's just not the same because I haven't spent the same amount of times on there. So that's the only reason I wanted to preface that. But I'd probably see the most from Instagram because it's a real nurtured community on there. Yeah. Yes.
You said you like would record or high-end content videos for like TikTok, for example. You have to go through there and script it and cut pieces out. Where would you go to cut those pieces out? How would you edit that?
Yeah, so I have 2 programs that I love. The free one is CapCut. It's actually owned by TikTok. You can have a desktop version or you can have the app. If you've ever used any Adobe products, it's very similar to that. If you've ever used TikTok, it's incredibly similar to the TikTok Studio and filming in app. But actually, you brought up a really great point. I always create all my videos in CapCut, and I export the original from there, and then I distribute that original to different platforms. So you will almost never see me post something on TikTok and take the watermark off and then go and put it on Instagram. I've created it in an outside program and put it out on both. And then the paid platform that I enjoy, which is, please don't quote me on this, but I believe it's under $20 a month. It's called Descript. Now, here's why Descript trumps CapCut for me, and I'm even referencing it. When you go into Descript, you upload a video, it pulls the transcript for you automatically. Now, for somebody like myself and a couple of my clients, I should say myself at the beginning, I've become quite a video editor over the years here, but I was not a good video editor, and you can literally go to the script and delete a whole sentence, and it will delete it out of the video. So it becomes you can delete all filler words, you can delete all dead space, you can honestly edit a video like that. It's very insane how quick you can do it. But I think it is like I don't remember if it's monthly or yearly, but it is a paid thing. So I do just want to say that. Yes.
We have a question from Nicole on Zoom. Is there a reason that some videos do not get pushed to the TikTok For You page?
Yes. So it's all about the completion rate of a video and how long they're staying on it. So the first 3 seconds of a TikTok video are crucial. If you're not captivating your audience and got them hooked, they're gone. And I can just tell you that from a user experience position more than a strategist. And so when you have your video, so what happens is when you first post your TikTok video, it gets pushed to your audience first and people who interact with you. And if they watch it all the way through and or like it, it then gets pushed out more. So depending on how your initial audience receives it, depends on how it gets pushed out. Now, what I will also comment on is that TikTok recently, probably about 3 weeks ago now, announced that they're doing delayed pushed views, meaning it could be 24 to 48 hours after your video is posted that it gets a huge amount of reach or jumps up like in a absurd way, right, in views and engagement. But it really just comes down to content. Have you hooked them in that first period of time? And have you brought enough value to keep them to the end? And you can actually check that in the TikTok analytics. It will tell you the completion rate of your video. And if it's over 50%, it did really great. And if it's under that, it can be tweaked and dead space can be cut, a new hook could be put in, anything like that.
Are you videoing through Zoom and doing the Descript, or are you just doing it on your phone? What are you using for that?
So this amazing thing up here is an Osmo Pocket 2. It can be found on Amazon. It's just on its own for $350, or you could buy the creator kit, which has this really lovely microphone that is pinned to me right now. And there's a lot of like wide angle lenses. You can plug it into different phones. I know it feels like an expense, but I'm telling you, I just took this on a trip this weekend and I didn't even take my DSLR out the whole time, which is insane. I have a mirrorless Sony and I love it so much. And we got to the end of the trip and I was like, I never took it out.
It shoots 4K, it shoots video,
Yeah.
it shoots
Yes.
slow-mos, time lapses, whatever you want. This little amazing camera can do it. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
When she first got it, I was like, another camera? Why? We have a DSLR. It's
He did.
$1,000,
He was so
$12.
upset.
Why do we do? I love this thing, and
Yes.
I hate that I love it so much because it is an amazing little camera.
He literally told me we were going to return it. And then it got here and he was like, okay, you
Yeah,
could keep
it
it.
is definitely a game changer. Definitely.
Yeah.
You said Osmo, right?
Yes, Osmo, and I can send a link to the I don't know if you guys want Amazon or DJI, either way, I can send both, and I can so you guys have it, because truly the camera's great, but the creator bundle with the microphone for small business owners, and depending on what you're utilizing it for, it's incredible. And the other thing really quick I'll say about Descript, and then I swear I'll take your question. Descript is really great because you can export it in multiple different ways. So you could do a video with audio, you can export just the audio and create a podcast with it. Like there's a lot of things you can do in there that's just really great, to be honest with you.
And Descript, if you use it enough, it'll start, the AI will actually start recognizing your voice.
And you can plug in
So
words.
If you mumble
Scary.
a word that you don't like how you said it, you can actually go in eventually and it'll recreate your voice and it'll say whatever word you want
Yeah.
to say in that place.
I know.
And seamless. You won't even notice it unless you're like really looking at your mouth and you're like, my mouth didn't word that. That doesn't look
Yeah.
right. It's creepy how well it really works out.
It's
You
really
start
great.
using it a lot.
It's really great, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, love.
It's okay. Do you, is it compatible with other equipment? Like, I have my own personal mic.
Okay.
Would it be compatible?
So I believe if the mic is Bluetooth or plug-in, because there's like a little plug thing that comes with it. But to be honest with you, this mic is so good. Like I have mics, right? I have mics at home. Excuse me. I even have like this little cute tiny mic that I just like plug into my phone when I'm on the road and I'm like teaching with a tiny mic. But this really does pull incredible quality. And honestly, I talk really loud. I could have had this here and it would have still caught incredible audio of the whole room. We probably would have heard the doorbell, everything in it. It's really unmatched. But I would tell you too that you can plug it into the phone. You can find like adapters to plug it into your phone, and that helps change the audio quality on like scripted head videos that if you don't want to get something like this, you could use an iPhone or something and be able to just really clear up the audio. That iPhone's great, but it could be better. I have like a 12 Max and I'm like, I'm gonna have to buy the new one, I know it. Yes.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about scheduling? I also have questions for you as well, because right now I'm kind of in that position where I like to edit from my phone when I can.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible for you to schedule Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels from your phone? I think you can do Facebook Reels in Creator Studio, but can you do Instagram Reels?
So I'll just be honest with you. You know, TikTok and Instagram are very big on using them as the native platforms, right? If you're going to use a third-party app to push out videos of that nature, make sure your captions are on point. Because when you post through third-party apps like that, you lose native SEO functions. So by capitalizing on things that you can control, like SEO from captions, keywords, anything it gives you availability to, you can do that. Later.com just released the ability 2 months ago to be able to post reels to Facebook and Instagram. To me, Later.com is the best scheduler out there. You would never catch me using Facebook Meta because they've deleted all my posts way too many times for me to not cry myself to sleep about it. So Later.com is really great, but I would tell you that For TikTok, what I do, I was actually telling Kim about this the other day. I have drafts for days in my phone. Caption ready to go, cover photo on, and it's just in my draft. So at 6 p.m. when I post, I go in and I post these 3 because these are the 3 that are going out for today. Right? So by utilizing the drafts on the app, it's the same thing as if you were doing the scheduler, right? You're still inputting it somewhere, you're still doing something for it, but then you're just saving it as a draft. And then I know it feels like we're taking a step backwards, setting an alarm and remembering to do that, but truly to be able to capitalize on the SEO, it's unmatched. But if you have to use something, use later and really capitalize on the different ways that you can use SEO in that platform.
So you would use later over Hootsuite?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes, 100%. Because later is built by social media experts. Like today, Hootsuite has been around for a long, long time, and trying to update and adapt to creators it's just a different, to me, Hootsuite is like corporate, right? And later is a little bit more flexible for the small business owner and being able to like see it in a different way. It's not so rigid.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anything else
Does everybody know what scheduling is?
for posts? Yeah, okay.
No?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
I
No. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. Like Christina was saying, if you guys would like to work with me, please reach out through this QR code here. I would love to help you guys in any way possible that I can. And go check out my website and my social medias. I have so many free resources on there. I have a podcast as well, and there's some new episodes dropping in 2 weeks. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to just DM me. I clearly live on social media, so. Yes, cool. Thank you.